Welcome, and thank you for joining me. I know the millions here, after all, this is the internet, are taking time to support local authors. We all thank you. For those of you who don't know me, I am a multi-genre author. That means I write stories in different categories. For example, the Killer series is a 4-part adult urban crime fiction. It chronicles the life of Bulletproof Morris Mojo Johnson, a black gang leader from the South Bronx, who teams up with Nicky Nails Roxy, the son of a mafia capo. Together, they build an international criminal empire out of blood, bombs, and bullets. I also write science fiction. In fact, my first book, which I wrote over 30 years ago, Pegasus, A Journey to New Eden, is a dystopian space adventure set in now the near future. In it, I predict the collapse of the Soviet Union, the rise of multinational corporations more powerful than governments, and global pandemics pushing the move into space. Then there is the Gemstone series, a historical fantasy trilogy about mermaids, men, and dragons. The first book, The Emerald Lady, takes place during the 18th century in the golden age of pirates. It is a pirate-mermaid love story from which I will now read a short excerpt. Chapter 1, Shipwreck. Jack Rogie was a 12-year-old ship's boy, young for the position, being 2 to 4 years prior to the normal, but he was a hard worker, even if he lacked the strength needed to haul water to the men on deck. Nevertheless, he was spry and agile as someone his age should be, able to avoid getting in the way of the men working those lines and sheets. Also, quick to respond to anyone's call, and not just Captain Myers or Midshipman Simmons. He had earned his nickname, Jack Quick, by being the fastest to reach the fore royal mast and was best suited for the job of ship's lookout. Jack was in awe of the enormous size of the Rummy Gale, the biggest ship in Portsmouth, and had to learn all the stores quickly, going up and down the 4 lower deck, running the 220 feet bow to aft, and being reminded constantly in his first week at sea that all things must be done on the double. The Rummy Gale was a Dutch-built Indiaman, large and heavy, made for hauling cargo. She had seen better days at sea, but was still steady in her timbers, and had recently gone through a careening for a thorough cleaning and tarring. She was a solid 1,422-ton beast of the sea, empty, but on this voyage she was hauling 200 tons of lumber. As a result, she was riding a little low, as noted by the captain. Jack called down from his perch 187 feet above the deck. "Dark clouds on the horizon dead ahead. I see God's anger. Give a heading to steer clear," called the midshipman. "No clearing, Mr. Simmons. Solid wall from end to end. Lots of heaven fire, too." "Come down, boy. A storm can be upon us quicker than even you can climb," yelled the captain. "Aye, aye, Captain." Jack started down the shroud. Descending to the foremast, he spotted something off to starboard, and hooking his arm through the ropes, he pulled the spyglass from his trousers, scanned the waves alongside the ship, and noticed a bloody red body appear and sink below the waves. He yelled, "Man overboard, off starboard." Jeremy Simmons raced to the gunwale, several sailors taking up positions along the side also, all searching for the man in the water. The captain called up, "Give a bearing, boy." Jack pointed towards the bow. "It was there, sir, a league's distant, streaked with blood and tossed in the waves." The captain scanned from where the boy pointed backwards. "Do any of you men see it, or any debris in the water?" A chorus of "nay" rumbled down the length of the ship. The captain looked across the horizon through his spyglass and ordered the boy back up the shroud to his perch with instructions to be on the watch for a ship's mast. Then he called Jeremy Simmons over. "Don't keep him aloft too long, and keep a lookout for any signs of shipwreck on the horizon." "What's your thinking, Captain?" "My thinking is that a boy his age should not be on my ship, Mr. Simmons. It is a fine age for the Navy who can afford to train a boy to be an officer and a gentleman. But this is a commercial ship. I cannot afford to pay a boy who can't earn his keep. Yes, sir. But as I explained before we embarked, his father died, and he is the eldest of his mother's sons. He needs to earn a crossing wage if the family is to survive. So he will be my responsibility. Then, wanting to veer the conversation in another direction, Jeremy asked, "What about the body in the water?" "I saw no body," stated Captain Myers. "What's more, I see no record that would accompany a body this far out. Did you?" "No, sir," Jeremy agreed. "My thinking is, this is the first of many storms we will encounter on this passage, and a boy, just from his mother's teeth, is full of fear of what a storm at sea brings, as right he should be. If he does not spot a mast hiding among the clouds, or any wreckage in the waves, send him below to ride out the storm." The captain knew that a body in the water, unaccompanied by any other sign of wreckage, was a known pirate's trip to get the ship to luff and becalm her sails. Then they would come racing out of the cover of the storm and take the ship while it was busy rescuing a person long time dead. Likewise, the absence of another ship could be a sign of something even more dangerous to come. As the banks of black clouds appeared before the rummy gale, Jeremy Simmons ordered Jack Quick from the riggings and replaced him with other sailors reefing the upper sails in preparation of the storm. Thunder rolled across the waves, and Jack shuddered as he and Jeremy made their way to the captain's quarters. Jeremy, towering over the frail boy, placed a firm hand on his shoulder. "A storm is a storm, the same at sea as on land. It's just a bit of wind, water, and wailing. Calm yourself, Jack." "Yes, sir." "Oh, but it is not just a storm when you are at sea," the captain contradicted the midshipman as he stood in the cabin's doorway watching the men prepare, the waves rocking the ship even as heavy as she was. The storm was still several hours ahead, but Jack was right. It stretched from port to starboard with not a break in sight, and he hoped that the wall of black did not go on for too long. Jeremy had convinced him that carrying milled lumber would increase the load and therefore the profit of the voyage. But it also meant the ship was much heavier, ride lower in the waves, and be more prone to sinking in a violent storm. On land, a storm does not open the ground beneath your feet and pull you under. Now, what did you see from your lookout, Master Rogies? "You mean the body?" Jack said carefully, as he was quite afraid of the captain. The gray beard was rugged and unkempt, and the face hard and scarred. "I saw a body with long streaks of blood down its back, but the blood was bright crimson, like fire. It was there but for a moment, then gone." The captain led them into his cabin and poured the young boy a full glass of grog, 4 times his daily ration. Then he lit up his pipe, taking several strong pulls to get it going. Smoke whirls streamed from his nose and surrounded his weathered face. "Ah, you saw your first mermaid, my boy." "Captain," Jeremy ejected, "do you think it's wise to fill the boy's head with fancies?" The captain laughed. "Fancies, Mr. Simmons? You went to sea as a lad, a little older than good old Jack Quick here. Been on the water some 6 years now, and you think you have seen all there is. I walked the decks, and today I could walk at my father's side. I have seen monsters, fish the size of a ship that can reduce this boat to driftwood. They surface without warning and send clouds into the sky. And yes, mermaids too. They either come to lead us through a storm safely or to collect our souls for the devil. As to your giant fish, I have heard of them, although I have never seen one myself," Jeremy said, lighting up his pipe, the red glow reflecting the copper streaks in his hair, which were tied neatly into a ponytail, and his equally freshly minted copper eyes lit up brightly as he spoke passionately. "But I have never heard one credible story of a mermaid. Most are told by those who have had as many years of grog as actual sea duty, and are usually told in exchange for a pint." He laughed. "And they all end with the rum-soaked brain being unable to forget her face or the love gained and lost in a single glance." Jack's eyes widened as saucers, and glossed over as another wave rocked the rummy gale. The captain squared them up. A man might well take rum as his mistress once his heart has been touched by a mermaid, drown himself in drink as it were, to finish the job left undone by the sea. Jack, my boy, you be too young to feel this now, but I assure thee there be no purer love for a sailor than that for the maidens of the sea. You said they come for our souls. Well, not all of it reciprocated, claimed the captain. The boy became unsteady on his feet again, and Jeremy, several inches taller than the captain was at 6 feet, caught his arm and steadied him before letting go. Finish your grog, Jack, then go below and help me secure our load. That is the rummy gale. And I will now take questions, and thank you for paying attention and joining me here. Thank you.